Welcome to the Silver and Black Show. In this week's overview, brought to you by Hawaiian Airlines, we look back at a halftime dedication to one of our all-time favorites, Willie Brown. Our own Eddie Paskal goes one-on-one with Coach Kirby Wilson, and Raiders staff members pitch in to do their part in the fight against the recent California wildfires. All that and more on the Silver and Black Show, starting right now.
All right, here we go. Ball game. 4th and goal, 8 seconds remain.
Here's your 4th down. Here's your thing. Play action, and Stafford fires back of the end zone. Incomplete! Incomplete! Incomplete!
And the Raiders will win.
This past Sunday, the Silver and Black pulled out an incredible victory over the Detroit Lions. It was an emotional day all around as Raider legends and Hall of Famers gathered together to remember their teammate and friend Willie Brown in a touching halftime ceremony.
It's a great day. We're playing Detroit Lions, and also a very special day for us as a Raider family because we're going to honor Willie Brown, Hall of Famer, our dear friend, our brother.
Willie Brown, number 24, was one of the greatest to have ever played the game. He was a friend, a father, a husband, a player, coach, and a Hall of Famer.
Like all Raiders who have left their mark on one of the most storied franchises in the National Football League, his legacy will endure forever.
Hello, Raider fans. Willie was loved by the Raider organization and the players that he played with and the players that he coached. But the best thing about Willie Brown is that he was a friend to everyone, and we're going to miss him. I'd like for you to do one thing. Stand with me, and let's give the great Willie Brown a standing ovation.
We had a lot of fun together. We played hard. He taught me a lot just by being an individual. How to care for your teammates, your family.
Great guy, one of the greatest guys. When I'm talking about the bump and run, he revolutionized the way to play that technique. There's nobody better than him. And I miss him dearly, and it's hard for me right now. But while he's watching us, he's cheering us on.
The impact number 24 had on this organization is immeasurable, and it speaks volumes about the man he was by those that showed up to celebrate his life. You will be missed, Willie. Coming up next, our interview with running backs coach Kirby Wilson.
Man, is this a good-looking young back.
Well, you know, he's unique. He's two players in one. Usually backs are described as, well, he can make you miss in the hole. Or there's a back described, well, he'll run your rear end over in the hole. Well, he's two players in one. He's that same guy. He'll make you miss in the hole, and he'll run you over.
He loves football, and boy, he's talented, and you can see it right now behind a big offensive line who's going to only get better.
Every time he touches the ball, if we block him for 2 or 3, he's going to get 4 or 5 every single time. When you have somebody like that in your backfield, that's special for an offense because you believe in it and you can trust it.
When talking about the success of players in the NFL, rarely does anyone give much credit to their position coaches, but they interact with the players more than anybody on the team. Their detailed insight and specific instruction can be the difference between a bust and a perennial Pro Bowler.
This is a 5-star game because we in it. All right, do your thing today. Let's go, man.
So I'm going to rattle off some names here for you real quick. These are guys that you've coached 1,000-yard rushing seasons out of. So I'm going to take a deep breath because there's a lot of them. Curtis Martin, Robert Edwards, Edgerrin James, Willie Park, Rashard Mendenhall, Le'Veon Bell, Adrian Peterson, David Johnson. When you look at those group of guys, and obviously by and large a really, really talented group, what do you think has made you so successful in coaching them up? What has made them eager and receptive to what you've had to say?
Well, the first thing you have to find out is how do they learn? Once you find out how they learn, that's where you want to spend most of your time at, is figuring out what makes them tick. How can you get them the information that they need to go about doing their jobs on a daily basis? And then once you do that, then it's about establishing a relationship, because the trust is built over time. And you don't just walk in the door with the respect or the trust. You might think you have it, but you still have to work and earn it. And it goes both ways, because great players want to be coached. They want to know that you can help them be successful. And once you've done that, they'll run through a wall for you.
You know, in speaking with coaches and obviously the players as well, I think the one thing that constantly comes back that I hear come up is, and it's kind of a cliche, but it's that this is a people business, right? I mean, obviously the goal is to score points or to have the opponent not score points on Sunday, but at the end of the day, it really is coaching up people, and like you said, learning how people communicate, how they learn. So how much of your job, you know, coming in the start of the season is really learning how best effectively to communicate with a guy and the way and how you're going to be able to most effectively get what you need out of him?
The quickest and easiest way is to ask, because they know generally at this stage of their lives and career, they know how they learn best. And once they've indicated that to you and shared that information with you, then you go about laying a plan out from A to Z, 1 to 10, whatever, of how I'm going to teach this person to get better. And then once you've got that, you've got an agreement. And I like to share with the room, I always tell them, we've got to have a prior agreement to prevent later misunderstandings. Once you've established that, then you got a really great foundation to start working with. And that's why he came Frieden on the outside. Yeah. That's a good adjustment. They took your slice of pizza, you take theirs. That's great eyes then, because I didn't see that one. That's a great assignment there.
So you were with Coach Gruden in Tampa Bay, and it seems like a very long time ago, but what about him and his style and him as a motivator wanted you to come and join him here in Oakland?
There's no question, that was and still is, he's the most detailed, organized, structured head coach / offensive coordinator I've ever worked with. And he challenges you to grow as a coach, even 17 years ago and currently. He's a mastermind at motivation. He knows his people. And as you grow and you learn under him, you know exactly what he's looking for, how he wants his particular players coached, and then you go about getting that done.
You know, you bring up the energy, and I think that's one thing that everyone brings up when you're talking about Coach Gruden, the energy being a good motivator. But, you know, we mic'd you up earlier this year, and that's something that we saw in the mic'd up as well. You're a high energy guy. You're trying to bring the best out of your players.
Come alive, baby, make a miss. Finish, 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 finish. Got him, got him, got him, got him. Stay alive, come on, finish, finish, finish. Split him. There you go, baby. Nice job, nice job.
I mean, how important, especially on a game day, is it for you to bring that energy so Josh and DeAndre and Alec and all those guys can kind of feed off of what you're bringing them on the sideline?
We try to make the practice part as hard as we can, physically and mentally, because we want that to be the measuring stick. So when they get to the games on Sundays at 1 o'clock, it's easy because they've executed the game plan twice, sometimes 3 times, depending on how much time you got during the week in between games.
In terms of running backs in particular, what is the biggest challenge about transitioning a rookie running back from college into the NFL?
Well, physically and mentally, how demanding it's going to be. You try to get that information to them immediately that this is going to be the most difficult thing they've ever done in their professional lives is that first year and making that transition from, the 11, 13 games, whatever it may be now in college, if you're on a really big-time program. Every year you're guaranteed 20 in this league, 20 games, and when you count the preseasons. And it's hard. It's for grown men, both mentally, on the field and off the field. And from a mental standpoint and a physical standpoint, it's hard, it's very demanding, it's unforgiving. And when you sign up for it, you're signing up for a lot, and it carries a lot of responsibility. And we're always telling and sharing with the young men is that you've got to have some accountability, some attention to details. You got to be great at your preparation, and then from that you want to develop consistency, doing something right the same way every time.
In Coach Kirby's first season, the Raiders have gone from the 25th ranked rushing team all the way up to number 6. His high standard and even higher energy is just what the Silver and Black had in mind when drafting Josh Jacobs in the first round. When we return here on the Silver and Black Show, we take an in-depth look at one Raiders fight against insurmountable odds. Whether you are a player, coach, staff member, or fan, the Raider Nation is a family. That bond has inspired loyalty that is unmatched, and nowhere has that been on display more than in the life of Dean Staver, the VP of Security for the Silver and Black.
As always, we want to thank you guys for being here on your weekend. It's your days off. We realize that. We appreciate you guys volunteering and providing security out here for the fans. We appreciate everything you guys do. Be proactive out there. Go Raiders.
51 years. That's how long Dean Staver, the Vice President of Security for the Oakland Raiders, has been a fan of the Silver and Black.
Go Raider Nation. Go Raider Nation, baby. Raider Nation. Let's go get them.
A few months. That's the time Dean was told he had left to live by doctors before beginning treatment for stage 4 pancreatic cancer in the spring.
The diagnosis was hard on my family. It was pretty devastating news to my children, my wife, my parents. So I think it's brought us together closer as a family to share each and every day. It smells good in here.
It's been over 6 months, and now the football team he has always held close to his heart and considers family is an additional circle of support during the most challenging season of his life.
From the day one diagnosis, the Raiders have been nothing but supportive. They put us in contact with some different people and kind of discussed my diagnosis, and kind of gives you that motivation to keep fighting and keep going. I didn't get you last week?
Thank you. Thank you.
Here you go, my man. Appreciate you, man. I appreciate you.
The Oakland fan, whose first game was a Raiders win against the Broncos in 1968 at the Coliseum, can be seen at every Raiders home game, patrolling perimeters and ultimately ensuring a safe game day for fans, players, and staff.
Are you doing one monitoring cameras, or are they monitoring up there? Let's start with the Alameda County Sheriff's Office back in 1982. It was a great career. I spent about 32 years there. Retired as a commander, and that's how I got tied in with the Raiders.
He would attend the Raider games working for the Sheriff's Department on game days. He eventually became the Sheriff's Department's incident commander, the main contact person for the Sheriff's Department and the Raiders.
Dean has spent the last 7 NFL seasons utilizing his skill set acquired from 32 years in law enforcement as a part-time turned full-time member of the Raiders organization.
What's up, my man? Good. Hey. Young man, how are you? I love game day. I love the activity. I love the interaction with everybody, talking to everybody. It's kind of great to get some behind-the-scenes looks at things that you grew up as a fan or as a kid watching that you didn't get to see. George, how are you?
Good, brother.
Good.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
He kind of just really meshes with this family, this organization, and what this company is about. When you say commitment to excellence, that's just him.
Dean has such pride in being, a Raider that he brings that into what he does every day, whether it's game day, whether it's in the office.
He's a diehard Raider fan, but he's committed to doing the right thing for the team and the organization and the stadium.
Since partially stepping away from work in April, Dean has remained involved with ongoing stadium operations as the Raiders prepare to relocate to Las Vegas in 2020.
He's looking more and more healthy every time we see him, and he's never let a message go unanswered. He regained some of that spirit and some of that strength, and he applied it immediately. We just feel like we've got the old Dean back right now.
The husband, father, and grandfather continues to impress all who know him with his extraordinary perseverance.
You think Christmas look good?
There's a few for you.
Can I have a hug now? That's what I came for.
Oh my gosh!
There's so many people who love Dean and love to see him. It's just encouraging to see him fight.
He's just a tough guy. He's just not willing to let this cancer be something that brings him down. Always been positive, always looked at this thing as just something that he was going to overcome and not something that was going to defeat him.
Today, we are honored to be represented by Raiders employees Karen Otten and Dean Staver, who have battled and are currently battling cancer.
You can see Raider Nation is out in force out here. It's awesome. Just win, baby. Just win.
Equipped with the same fortitude as the team he has identified with since he was 6 years old, Dean is battling his diagnosis with everything he's got and making the most of every minute left in the game.
You know, I was trying to explain to my wife, don't worry about it. I'm going to beat this. That was kind of my thought process from the beginning. That's the process I'm going to take. As long as I can, I'm going to beat this.
What a special moment that was for Dean and his family as he was honored in front of a packed house at the Coliseum. Coming up on the Silver and Black Show, we take a trip through history with football's fabulous females. Football's fabulous females has been a staple of the NFL for over 50 years. With their formation in 1961, these women have represented the pride and poise in which the Raider organization has been built on. This past weekend, Raiderette alumni spanning each decade gathered to cheer on their team once again.
We're having a wonderful Raiderette reunion. The former Raiderettes are going to perform on the field, and they love these opportunities to get together because the Raiderettes is a real sisterhood, is a real sorority. They love each other, as you can tell, and they keep in touch this way.
We've had reunions in 2002, 2012, and then this one, and it's unbelievable how many Raiderettes have come back. The sisterhood never dies. It's so amazing. And this is the last time that all of us who cheered here for so many seasons, it's the last time that we'll be on the field. So it's a little bittersweet.
This is my aunt, and she's my niece. So yes, so it's pretty cool to learn. I didn't even know my aunt was a Raiderette.
It was a great experience because we were in the first era of it. So it was all new to the NFL.
I would say though, as far as the sisterhood is concerned, it's unlike any other. Nobody else quite gets it unless you are a Raiderette alumni, because you spend so much of your time together, your blood, sweat, and tears, celebrating life's, joys, and you truly become sisters.
The Raiderettes, football's fabulous females, have been a key part of this organization. Throughout the years, they've not only entertained fans on game day, but also been leaders and pioneers in the community, helping to inspire so many.
Today was so great. We went together to the tailgate, we performed on the field, then we got to hang out at the game all day. Just brings you back to a time where the adrenaline's running and you're like so happy to be out there. It's so fun.
The best part is, of course, being amongst all of our fellow Raiderette sisters. There's over 300 of us here at this particular game, and it will never go away, the magic of cheering for the Raiders, being a part of the sisterhood. Just a really great time.
It feels very familiar, but it's changed a lot as well, being on this side of the field in the stands instead of out there with the team.
It was amazing being back out there. It was great.
It was so awesome to see all of our friends that are still cheering. Being back on the field, it was like no time lost. We almost feel like we're part of the team again, and it was amazing.
Current Raiderettes live every moment, and I know that sounds really cliche, but that is true. Live every single moment. It's gonna hit you later when you leave how special it was. I mean, you know it's special when you're there, but it's when you leave that you realize when you were 18, oh my God, where'd that time go? So make the most of it while you're here. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody.
A wonderful celebration of the females that have proudly represented the silver and black for so long. Another proud representation of the Raider spirit was on full display last week as players, families, and staff members created more than 300 care packages to aid the relief efforts of those affected by the recent California wildfires.
We're volunteering because of the fires that are happening and devastating California, and Kincaid is the project today. We're making boxes for the families, children, infants, adults, everybody. essentials like towels, toiletries, snacks, jackets, even coats, small coats for the kids, and warm-ups, even baby stuff. So we have everything from 0 to on. It was a family gathering, and we're doing a family thing for the community, so it feels good. I'm from Texas, so I remember when Hurricane Katrina happened. So it's that kind of devastation. So the urgency is important, the love and the care that we're putting in the packages, and hope that the family receives it. The Raiders, their whole theme is excellency. So we feel the need to be with the community. So anybody that wasn't a Raiders fan will be one, hopefully, after they receive the boxes.
The Raiders' commitment to the community has never wavered, and our thoughts go out to those affected in the recent fires. That's going to do it for this week on the Silver and Black Show. I'm Nicole Zaloumis. Go Raiders!